What would you do if the doctor told you your heart is too weak, but your family still depends on your hard work? This man, with nothing but honesty in his hands and faith in his heart, has been fighting life's toughest battles for more than 24 years. His story is not about wealth, it's about dignity, survival, and the courage to never give up. Life has a way of testing people, pushing them beyond limits, and shaping stories that sound almost unreal when told to others. Some people live their lives quietly, never asking for attention, never demanding applause, yet their struggles, sacrifices, and journeys become lessons of resilience for everyone around them. This is the story of one such man, a man who, despite the struggles of health, poverty, and hardship, kept his honesty, faith, and dignity intact. His story is not written in books, not broadcasted on television, but it is carved into the walls he plastered, the streets he cycled through, and the trust he earned from every customer he ever met. The doctor had written in his file, "Bypass surgery required." His heart valves had grown weak, his body had grown old, and his strength was no longer what it used to be. But when you stand before him, you would never see a man giving up. Instead, you see someone who still holds plaster in his hands, smoothing the wall with patience, leveling it with dedication, and continuing to work as if nothing had changed. For decades, this man has lived by the principle that work is worship, that dignity lies in sweat and effort, not in shortcuts or deceit. And even when his heart betrayed him, he refused to betray his work. For 22 years, he rode a bicycle, traveling long distances, carrying with him bags of plaster, tools, and the faith that his effort would keep food on the table. Every morning, he would wake up before sunrise, wash his face with cold water, pick up his simple lunch packed by his wife, and set out on his cycle. No one saw how many times his knees ached, how many times his back screamed in pain, or how often the rain drenched him on the road. People only saw the finished work, a wall neatly plastered, smooth like glass, ready for paint. That was his pride, that was his signature. He sold sahag, the plaster, for years. Every wall he touched carried not just cement and sand but also a piece of his story. His customers were not just people, they became his witnesses. They saw his honesty, they saw his dedication, and many even wondered why he worked so hard for so little. Day after day, month after month, year after year, he pedaled through the streets, knocking on doors, offering his service. 22 years on a bicycle. That is not just work, that is a lifetime of sacrifice. Then came a small change. 4 years ago, he managed to shift from a bicycle to a motorcycle. To many, this would seem like nothing, but to him, it was the difference between struggle and relief. A motorbike meant faster travel, more customers in a day, and less pain on his tired legs. Yet even with a bike, he didn't lose his humility. He still charged the same fair prices. He never cheated anyone, never demanded more than he deserved. For him, 20 rupees was enough if it was earned with dignity. Think about it, when the whole world measures success by how much money you make, how many luxuries you own. Here was a man who measured his success by honesty. He did not live to become rich, he lived to remain pure. That is why people trusted him. That is why customers kept calling him back. That is why even when his heart was weak, his spirit remained strong. The camera catches him in his natural state, holding the plaster with his bare hands, carefully smoothing the wall, sweat dripping from his forehead, yet a calm smile on his face. Behind him, his small window opens to the outside world, where life moves faster, shinier, and louder. But inside his world, things move slowly, honestly, and meaningfully. His story does not need grand sets or background music, it needs only truth, and that truth shines brighter than any decoration. He is around 70 now, though no one can say exactly because years of labor carve lines on your face that sometimes make you look older, sometimes younger. His children grew up watching his struggle, his wife stood by him through sickness and health, and his customers respected him for never missing a day of work unless it was absolutely impossible. Even today, when the doctor says bypass surgery is needed, he still chooses to work, because stopping feels like giving up, and he has never known how to give up. Ask him about his life and he will tell you simple things. That he started with nothing, that he believed in honesty, that even when the world cheated him, He never cheated anyone back. That when others looked for shortcuts, he chose the long, difficult road. That when people laughed at his bicycle, he smiled and kept pedaling. 22 years he spent like that. Then 4 years on a motorcycle. Now the journey continues, even with a weak heart. His story is not about money. It is about faith. Faith that hard work never goes unnoticed. Faith that Allah or God always provides for those who stay honest. Faith that one man's simple life can inspire thousands. This is why we share his story. This is why we salute him. Because in his cracked hands, in his tired eyes, lies the definition of dignity. Imagine for a moment, 24 years without stopping, without giving up, without asking for help. Imagine plastering walls day after day, breathing in the dust, carrying heavy loads, standing for hours, yet still smiling at customers. Imagine earning so little that others laugh at you, yet being proud because it was clean, honest money. That is not just a man's story. That is a lesson for all of us. He never had birthday parties, no grand celebrations, no fancy programs. His happiness was simple: to see his family eat, to see his children grow, to hear his wife say thank you, to know that his customers trusted him. That was enough. That was his reward. And that is something many of us forget in today's world. Even now, when people gather around him, they look not just at a plasterer, but at a teacher of life. He may not speak with big words, but his actions speak louder than any lecture. When he holds plaster and smooths it across a wall, he is teaching us patience. When he wipes sweat from his face and continues, he is teaching us perseverance. When he charges little and refuses to cheat, he is teaching us honesty. And when he works with a weak heart but a strong will, he is teaching us courage. The doctor can write bypass surgery in his file. The machines can show blocked valves. But the truth is, his heart beats stronger than most. Because a heart that carries honesty, a heart that carries faith, a heart that carries the weight of 24 years of struggle, can never be weak. That heart will always inspire. So here he stands today, in front of us, with his tools, his plaster, his bike parked outside, his story written on every wall he touched. We salute him, we honor him, and we ask you to remember that true success is not in luxury but in dignity. If you believe in hard work, if you believe in honesty, then you are already rich, no matter how much money you have in your pocket. And as we close this story, we invite you to leave your thoughts, to share your prayers, to respect this man who gave his life to work, who refused to bow down to difficulties, who proved that integrity is priceless. Keep watching, keep listening, and keep learning from real stories like his, because these are the stories that matter, the ones that inspire, the ones that stay in our hearts long after the video ends. Salam to this man, salam to his journey, salam to his honesty. May his heart be healed, may his work be rewarded, and may his story inspire generations to come.